Okay, welcome to the first installment of what I've done to your Pinterest account. Um, Hopefully I can explain this in a way that makes some sort of sense. Since you're familiar with Board Booster already to some extent, it will help a lot in my explanation and your understanding. So I'm going to start here with the spreadsheet that you had um, and show you what I've done to it, and what it means, and what you'll need to do to maintain it going forward. Um, so I created a new tab here of all of your Pinterest boards. I've labeled them whether they're group board. If they're a group board, I put a G in parentheses, and I also put the number of followers just as a kind of a visual clue to myself of what kind of board this is and how big it is. I also put the board owner over here just so you can see who it is. And then for your own boards, I don't put any, any G behind them or any board owner because they are yours. So, I'm going to show you soon, like what I would do as a process from if you get added to a new group board, all the different steps that I go through to put it onto this spreadsheet and so forth. And I'll do that in a little bit. But this is just something you can, glance at. And if you leave a board, you just simply delete the row. It's easy as that. But it's also a way for you to be able to click and go right to a board instead of having to search for it. And then I went to the tab of your posts that you had filled in somewhat, and then I filled in some more, and I also added links to them, and I'll also show you what to do to work on this tab going forward. I also categorized all of them by the type of recipe that they are, which correlates back to the master list of Pinterest boards. And this is the tab of the ones that you wanted to keep track of that we had left in case you want to go back to them. And as I go through these, there are some on here that you weren't pinning to regularly, so they weren't showing up on the Board Booster report. So they should begin to be being pinned regularly too, and then you'll be able to see them on that report, and I'll show you, kind of what I look at, and you might want to leave a few, especially the smaller ones. They don't usually do as well as the bigger ones. There was one. This paleo one has under 1,000 followers, and it's probably going to end up being one that won't get you much repins, and you'll probably want to leave. But we'll get to that later. So, what I basically did is kind of similar to what you had going on. You had the campaigns set up, pulling from those secret boards and posting to a bunch of different group boards. What I did is a similar process, but a little more comprehensive, I guess you could say. And it's done slightly differently. So what I did was I went into the scheduler section and created or added all of your boards to the scheduler. And then this just puts this big long list of them, and it also creates a secret board for each and every one of them. Then what I do is I go to Pinterest itself and go take a look at your main profile. Then you go down to the bottom, and that's where it shows all your secret boards. And what I did was I created some best of boards, which are similar to the ones that you had set up, just titled kind of differently. So we have best of snacks, best of all of your pins are in this best of all pins. I take that back, but all of your pins that are not seasonal are in here. Your salad pins, the best of breakfast, best of dessert, best of soups and salads, and then we also have best of We have a best of salad and a best of soups and salads because there were two different boards that those could go in. Best of fall, main, holiday, best of side dishes, best of slow cooker dishes, and best of lunch pins. And then you'll see how all of these best of boards correlate back to this over here. So what I did was I went in and taking into consideration the categories here, I filled up these best of boards with all of whatever they're best of about. So all of your main dishes should be here. Anything that was a slow cooker, anything that could be considered a side dish, things like that. Put them in there. And then back over here on the board booster section, I went through each of these boards that I added, and I determined if they could fall into a best of category. So since all of your recipes are grain-free, the grain-free type boards and the real food boards are all going to be able to pull from the best of all pins category. So what I did was went into this settings and changed the source board, which you didn't do that in the, well, you kind of did that in the campaign. You had to set it to a particular source board. Then these three here, these three settings are important. You want to change it to chronological newest to oldest so that it's pulling in the pin that's on the top and going down. And then if you have a new post, you're going to add it to the best of all pins, and it's going to say, oh, boom, we have a new post, so I need to go the next time this is Board Booster talking, the next time I go to pin something, I need to grab the newest post, which will be the new post that you've added. It's going to keep all of the pins on that source board and not delete any, and when it's done pinning them to this board, to the other boards, it's going to start over. So these three settings are not set like this as a default, so these are going to have to be changed every time, and I'll show you that soon. So now I'm going to walk you through what to do when you get added to a new board. I just added you to 3 boards that one of my clients owns that I'm able to add people to that I hope will show up. There we go. You'll have to check this frequently. If you know that you've requested and that someone has added you, you can know to come to this, but just check every so often and see if anyone else maybe adds you to a group board, and you just have to accept them. And then we're going to add them to that spreadsheet. So let's open up. I don't remember what the other one was, but we'll find it. So we're going to go to the spreadsheet, to the master list, and you can keep them in order if you want. Sometimes it's hard to grab the order or figure out the order based on these special characters at the front, and you can't actually add plus signs at the front of the titles in the spreadsheet because it doesn't it thinks you're trying to do a formula. Beside the point. But so basically I copied the title of the board. I'm going to hit enter to help keep the formatting same. I'm going to put that G, go back over here, and she has right here I round up 33,000 followers, and that is ancestral nutrition. And I'm going to link the whole board, and that is all you have to do for the spreadsheet. So let's add the other one. I hit enter to open up the cell because if you paste it pastes it really huge and then you have to format it. But if you do this, your formatting is done for you. go find, if you go back to your profile, if you've lost, where that link was to the board, you can go to your profile and scroll around. Hopefully it'll be at the bottom, but not always, as you can see, kind of at the bottom. Open up this one last board. 1,000 followers. And the same here, and we'll grab that link. And there you go. That's all you have to do on this section. Then you'll need to go to Board Booster, back over to the scheduler. You're going to want to add those boards, and it's not going to have them in the list. You're going to have to refresh, which can take a few minutes. So I'm going to actually pause my video until it comes back up. Okay, so it did its thing, and it pulled in these 3 boards for us. So we're just going to click on them, click to choose them, click continue, and I set it at pins per day of 1 and 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then it's going to go through another mess. I mean, this is basically when it's creating the secret boards and doing all of everything that it does, and it takes a few minutes as well. The more boards you have to add, the longer it takes. So it's creating the secret board, and I think you might know that it shows, I don't know if you, but anyway, when Board Booster creates the boards as a secret board, it puts that dash there in front of it, so that when you go to pin things, you can pin to the secret board, or you can pin to the public board, if you will. That's just a way for you to know that little tiny dash, which is sometimes hard to find. I'm going to pause this again while it uploads this. I think if you were watching there, I might have clicked on the wrong board to add, and it just added the healthy breakfasts board back. So let me go back in here, and there we need to add the ancestral nuts board. If you're doing a lot of boards in one sitting, it'll keep your defaults here, but then, if you wait till another day or another week, it'll change it back to the other defaults. So let's see. The list of the boards, there was quite a few in there. Those were some of the ones we've left, and Board Booster for some reason isn't refreshing the fact that you left them, or maybe it's taking a while to refresh. So it still puts them in the list and makes it look like you have boards to add, but I've added everything that you currently belong to, and I went in and double checked everything. So pause again. Okay, now we've got them all added, and I'm going to delete this one because I didn't mean to add it. It's one of the boards that we left, so all you have to do is delete it, and it won't show up in the list anymore. So the 3 that we added are here, here, and here. And those are all, natural living, real food kind of boards. So you can change, we're going to change them to source all of your pins. Now here is one thing that you're going to need to look at. So let's take a look at the boards and how I figure out how often I want to pin to them so that, your stuff isn't dominating a board. Each of them I've set up differently. So what I do is I start here and I scroll down maybe like 3 or 4 rolls of my mouse, and then I click on a pin. And I scroll down and I take a look. When was it last pinned? If it was 1 day ago, I'm okay with leaving this set up as 1 pin per day. Some of them I've scrolled down and it was 3 weeks ago that pin was pinned. In that instance, I would go click over here and have this pinning your pins once every, for a 3-week time period, I would do it maybe once every 15 days or 21 days or whatever. You can change it to whatever you want. And I'm going to pause my recording and pick up in the next one because I'm about out of time.